All right, guys, it's time for the New York Islanders 2025-26 season preview. Almost said the Rangers there. That would have been real awkward.
Fight, fight,
We're
fight,
starting.
fight, fight. No,
we're,
no,
s-
no.
we're starting the rivalry early on in the season. No, New York Islanders obviously missing the playoffs last season for the first time in a while. Look, it was pretty expected though, to be fair, with that aging lineup. It had to happen at some point, and they did ultimately miss out by 9 points last season, only managing 82 points on the season. But they did get the number one overall pick, and they move on to brighter things in upcoming season. So let's take a look at that projected lineup that they're going in with, and see if
Yeah.
maybe we've got a better outlook this season for them.
Yeah, I'll go through that just like in roster, just because there's probably some noteworthy names that aren't in the projected lineup, just because of ELCs and whatnot. So we got Barzell, Horvat, Lee, Pajot, Palmieri, Drouin, Holmstrom, Duclair, Engvall, Sazikas, Ty Splikov, Heineman, Maxim, Shabanov, and obviously McLean. Defense, a little bit thinner here. We got Romanov, Pulak, Palek, Mayfield, D'Angelo, and Boquist. Obviously Schaefer there as well. Not listed there. Goalies, Sorokin, Valamov, Riddick. Riddick brought in by the new GM just to ensure if Valamov is not ready for the season, that position is covered. And just into regards to look, trades, one trade, Noah Dobson out, so good player out, a right D out, team that needs right Ds. He's gone. They get 2 firsts and Heineman, so not too bad there. Signings, we have Jonathan Druin coming in, David Riddick, as I mentioned, coming in, and then the ELCs like Schaefer, Eklund, and Shabanov being signed and possibly playing this year. So all in all, uh, looking at the projected lineup, it's a bit bare bones in regards to forwards. It's a bit,
Mm-hmm.
if not really bare bones, in regards to right D. And yeah, this team needs goal scoring. I don't see where it comes from. Kyle Palmieri was their third highest point scorer last year, and he should not be. He should not be on the first line. He's like probably at this point in his career is third line is middle six, like third line, second line, move between the two. So look, they got some issues. Obviously, they're going through rebuild. I should just note before handing off that they obviously did change in the front office. Marsh comes as the new GM. Obviously, Lou Lamoriello out. Some assistant coach changes as well with that. Their head coach does stay the same, and Patrick Roy. Matt Martin retires, and he comes in the front office as a special assistant to help them there. So nice New York Islander blue and blue. And Cal Clatterbuck also retires, so he will no longer be playing. So those are notable moves. Obviously, probably the biggest ones being the GM and the future path for this team. But does this team do anything this year? I guess is my big question to you. Is wildcard
Um,
even a chance?
I'd really love to say for Islander fans to sort of stick around and not switch off on this video. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, of
Wow.
course.
It's not all doom and gloom. They got Schaefer. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, no. Look, I think that's probably the big point here is, you got the first overall pick last season, lucked out with that, and that's gonna absolutely, it's gonna shave probably a good 3 years off the rebuild straight off the bat, and give him a good solid foundation, because that kid's gonna be absolutely phenomenal, not just as a hockey player but as a leader. He just has the pedigree. You can just see it in the way he speaks. Yeah, he's going to be
I'm a
phenomenal
fan
for this.
favorite already, and he hasn't played a game.
Yeah, yeah. For this franchise, I think he's going to be phenomenal. But in terms of this season, no, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. sorry to put it bluntly, but I just they're lacking far too much. I know they're in the weaker metro, but even with that sense, I can't see them getting past, you know, New Jersey, Carolina, Washington, New York. And honestly, at this point, I think one of those teams is going to miss out because I think five from the Atlantic are probably making it at this point. So I can't see them getting past those four, which means that they ain't getting a wild card spot. So yeah, and I don't think they should be aiming for a wild card spot. I think these guys, yes, they got the two first round picks for Noah Dobson, which was phenomenal. They used them in the this year's draft just gone. They've got two first round picks next year as well, their own and Colorado Avalanches, although it can be deferred to the next seasons, which I doubt they would do unless Colorado, you know, completely shits the bed. Um, yeah, so I just think for this franchise, they shouldn't be wanting to do well this season. I know they've got a lot of aging veterans that, you're essentially wasting the rest of their careers. They're not going to go into the season planning on being terrible. They're going to try. As you said, Kyle Palmieri on that first line in projected. He's not a first line. He put up 30 goals and 24 goals the last two seasons, but he's not a first line winger. He's not a player that you have on your first line wing if you're expecting to make the playoffs. I think they'll be competitive because they always are. It's just an Islanders thing.
Hmm.
They're always in every single game, but ultimately, I think if you're an Islanders fan, you're just gonna want to watch some, you know, competitive hockey whilst not killing your position in this year's draft.
Yeah.
If I'm
Look,
honest.
I like their goaltending. Obviously, they got three goaltenders at the moment. Obviously, Sorokin being the one right there. And Riddick as the backup for Varlamov, depending on injuries. Um, they've got all right centers like Horvat, Barzell, Pajot, pretty good. Suzuki is fourth line. But yeah, the wingers, there's not much to see. Like you bring in a free agent for 4 million, and he's projected right now on your first line and Druin. Like
Yeah,
that shouldn't be happening. Um,
yeah. I mean, Druin is solid. I think four
oh,
million for Druin was absolutely
oh yes,
phenomenal.
I agree.
Especially he was almost a point a game for Colorado last
Mm.
season. He is injury prone, which is a problem, and also some other things prone. But the interesting thing there is they've got Barzell listed as second line center. Yes, he has played center a lot. He didn't play center at all last season.
Yeah,
He played completely on the wings, and yep, I get, they've got Horvat. Obviously, they had Nelson before they traded him out. Pajot. So they've got the Suzuki's, they've got the center depth. They didn't really
yeah.
need him there
They were
as
missing that
much as they do
fourth
now.
center, and that's where like Kyle McLean or something comes in
Mm,
as like your fourth center. He played 81 games, obviously on the fourth line. So that's really your fourth line center there. And obviously Barzell moves to a wing. And obviously there's going to be adjustments. This is just what cap wages are thrown up.
mm. I think
But
I think Barzell will play center this season. I think he will actually move into a center role a little bit more now that Brock Nelson's out. I don't think the idea is to have Pajot move up into that second line center. I think they will want to see, something from Barzell. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you do see him play center a little bit more this season.
yeah, well, I think with someone like him, you just got to play wherever he feels best comfortable. If he plays better at center, you play him center. If he's playing better at wing, you play him wing. And then you adjust accordingly. He's a core player, so he should be built around, and he should be thrown to positions that he doesn't really want to play. Um, yeah, honestly, there's just too many areas of improvement. Obviously, they're going through rebuild, and they're probably a couple years out of doing stuff. But how bad is this season going to be? Probably not too bad. Like they've always been good defensively and good goaltending here, so they've always been good in regards to keeping conceding least amount of goals.
Mhm.
But scoring is going to be a problem, and you might see some boring games because of it. Like it might be like a 0-0, 0-1 type games. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the games that these guys absolutely thrive in. Low scoring. It's been that way for
going to
so long.
OT, yeah.
Going to OT. Yeah, I know they were the OT kings. The amount of OT losses they had in some of these seasons gone by. I think even last season they had 12 OT losses. Um, but yeah, I think this season it's going to be interesting because they've got two big players who could net them some serious returns at the deadline as well. You've got, Peugeot, who obviously is the last year of his contract. I highly doubt he'd be looking at an extension with the Islanders, and I don't think the Islanders would want to be extending him either, given the trajectory that they're going. I think if they sign him, it's probably a bad decision on both parties.
Mm,
But he's going to be worth something because he is a quality third line center that can move into that center line,
yeah.
second line center role if you need him to. He's a very good face-off taker. Um, and then you've obviously got Anders Lee as well. And I know he's the captain, and that becomes a big thing. But as we saw, I think the interesting thing with this is they lost Nelson last year, a big part of their team, traded him out, and potentially Lee this year. It's two big leaders of their franchise, but it just shows you that it's at the end of an era. And I think to go into that new era, Anders Lee could net them some serious returns. Like he put up 28 goals or something last season. He has a season like that again, gets to the deadline. The assets that guy can get you to a contending team, you wear
Mm.
half the contract.
Yeah, the hard thing for the GM is like pretty much half this team has modified no trade clauses or no trade clauses. Um,
Yeah.
like
But with those, they're mostly contenders that they've
yeah,
got
yeah.
on those
But
lists.
but it'll be like a 16 team no trade list type stuff. Like you can make deals happen. I'm just noting it like because this is probably the team with the most I've seen so far.
Yeah. Everyone's got them.
But
They're Oprah and that stuff, mate. You get a no trade clause. You get a no trade clause.
yeah, well that's what you have to do when you struggle to pull some people in as well. But look, the people on the outs for me that I would be doing would be the Anders Lee, the Pajot. Um, I know Carl Pyramid just signed, but that's someone I would also look at possibly moving.
Mm-hmm.
Though you do want some people with that experience. Sazika's 34, 2.5 mil to play. Not too many points from him. Like
Fourth line.
yeah, 7 goals,
Yeah.
10 assists. Like you're playing fourth line, 2.5 mil. I,
Mm.
there's no point really. And then the D, honestly, like Mayfield, D'Angelo, those would be the people that were out for me, like guaranteed. And then goaltending, obviously, whoever's not performing. You got three goaltenders. You don't need three goaltenders. They've
Mm.
insured it for this year though, which is smart. It's a smart GM move, I think, to guarantee that you have two working goaltenders, especially if
Yeah.
Sorokin goes down. At least you got Riddick. So
Yeah, and they're both serviceable backups as well. Varlamov when he's obviously healthy, and Riddick in general. So yeah, I mean they've got probably one of the best three-way goalie tandems going around. Um, I guess the obvious thing here is just hopefully one of them doesn't get waived and picked up on waivers. That'd be the only problem you'd have there. But yeah, the biggest thing I see with their defense is they've all got they're all over 30 and they've all got 4 years minimum. And I just don't see anyone taking those contracts.
well, the only
Like,
only one I was looking at is like one of the prime ones, and he has a no trade clause as Scott Mayfield.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
32, but he has 5 years on that, so oofed. But
yeah,
D'Angelo's a
yeah.
good one to move. 1 year
He
deadline. No, like
ultimately he'll be moved every year like he is.
mm,
He goes plays for a season, either with the team that makes the playoffs or he gets moved to a team who makes the playoffs, then goes and signs another 1 year contract somewhere. Um, but yeah, this year I think most for Islanders fans it's basically just seeing what Schaefer can do. I really hope for their like I'm a bit torn because do you play him for 9 games and then send him down, or
Nah, I play him all year.
do you give the
I,
franchise something to get excited about and just have
yeah,
him
sell
out
the
there
shirts,
bang?
get the money, get the hype around him,
Mm,
get him the minutes,
mhm,
get him the experience. You know, get him. I don't know what you would call like leadership trainee.
mhm.
Put him like kind of on the leadership team to just sit there and see how it works.
Yeah, have
Uh,
Anders Lee in his pocket.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
100%.
but the sad thing is like some of the people we've talked about, like Anders Lee going out, he's a captain. I think Pullock, I know he's got no trade clause, but Pullock and Pellick and Mayfield have all been looked at of possible tradees as well. And I know
Yeah.
he's got a no trade clause, but things happen. Um, Obviously another one that could leave no trade clause. Also Duclair, and obviously Pajot is one you mentioned earlier, but they need to get that next generation leadership team in there,
Mhm,
and building that from the get go. You've already got Bo Horvat. He's probably your mainstay in regards to leadership, and I'm not sure actually how much Barzell does, but really he should be somewhere a part of that.
mm. The hardest thing for me looking at this
Romanov
team,
is also should be in there.
I know they've got Victor Eklund, who they picked up in the draft, and if he becomes anything like his brother, like he's going to be a phenomenal talent. Um, but their depth prospect pool is just non-existent. Um,
Mm.
Obviously Schaefer helped that massively,
Yeah, well, they were
but
always like they were
yeah,
doing a
like
Calgary, Vancouver, where they're always kind of going for it, always competing, and that's what
kept
happens.
going.
Your pool
Yeah,
dries up, and now all of a sudden they flick the switch, and now they got the first overall. They got
yeah, because
well,
like normally with a team like this, and I'm like, you're probably not making playoffs. I mean, if they do, I think it's a waste of time and it's a waste of his season and draft picks. But
might be good experience for the young guys, but that's the
yeah, but
only positive I could take out of
the young guy is literally Schaefer. They don't have any other
it.
young guys. Like you look at this lineup, Romanov is your next youngest player basically, and he's 25. He's got experience. He's been in the playoffs. Emil Heineman, 23, but he's not gonna be anything spectacular. He might be a solid bottom six player for the next 5 6 years, but he's not like the only player that I can see getting excited about this season for them is really Schaefer. There's no other prospects that I can sit there and go, the big thing to look out for is how does prospect A, B, C, and D perform? But they don't have them. They don't
Nah.
have them in the lineup.
Look, the thing to
Um,
expect, the thing you're looking forward to is the trades that should come. Should
mm,
come. I say should because GMs have done weird things in the past. So, but the trades that should come, and honestly, you're looking at how you're doing for the first half of the season, and that pretty much decides the rest of your season. So pretty much up
mhm.
to December is your real season, and then everything else is decided after that of who's going, who's on the market, and etc. Um,
I do have a question for any Islanders fans listening. What do you want to see from this team? Do you want to see them absolutely push for playoffs and try to make playoffs? Or are you at the stage now where you really just want them to commit to a rebuild and to start generating those assets so that you're not wasting time going forward? Like I'm generally curious to know what Islanders fans are thinking, whether it's they have had enough of this aging team. They know it's come to an end. They don't want to waste any more time, or whether they do truly think that this team can take them forward to a playoff berth.
mm, that's a good question because you got Penguins that kind of need to rebuild. Caps aren't too far away. Flyers are kind of coming out of there. Columbus is sort of coming out of theirs. Um, and then obviously you got the Canes and Devils as your top two, kind of leading the march. So it's kind of interesting which park do you want to be in. You want to go to
Mm.
the Penguins way and be down there with them, and then when they come good, you're coming good, or do you want to go through the? Well, actually, you probably come good before them, but um, or do you want to go the Flyers Columbus way? I think that's a very interesting question, actually. It's a
Yeah,
hard one
well,
because
yeah.
the like you've been saying, probably 5 in Atlantic, 3 in the Metro. There's chances for wild cards there because of
Mm.
the difference. And I this team's always played well defensively, so I've got that bias that I feel like they can do it because they've always just been a defensive powerhouse. But I just feel like it's different this year.
Oh, I think this team's hard to bet against being able to pull it off and make the playoffs. And the worst part about it is that they've proven when they've made the playoffs that they can actually win a series as well.
Mm.
Go, to the Eastern Conference Finals for crying out loud. It's just, I look at it and I just go, I can't see it. I can't see this team getting even close to winning a cup. And if you make the playoffs, your first round pick, instead of being a top 10 pick, is now 20 odd pick, which isn't helping you go forward. And that playoff experience or whatever, you don't have players who need the playoff experience. Just about every player in their lineup has played in their playoffs with them.
Yeah,
So I just,
you
for
do have
me,
to compete to be a destination for free agents and
yeah,
trades as well, like people waiving their no trade clause. Um,
yeah,
so they are in New York, competing against the Rangers to be a destination. Um, that's why you kind of want to compete is to be that destination, I think. But other than that,
yeah.
I
I
don't
think
have much
Schaefer
else to add.
helps with that though. I think
Yeah,
Schaefer helps with that.
yeah, he
Having the
does.
number one draft pick, if he comes out and he shows he's a phenomenal player like he looks and the way he acts, I mean, he's going to draw people in just on himself. So,
Yeah,
yeah, look, I don't know. I really
yeah,
hope these guys bounce back
yeah. Like you
and
said,
do a quick rebuild.
let us know in the comments, Islanders fan or non-Islanders fan, what you think the Islanders should be doing, what you want from them, what you expect, and yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. But till next time, we'll catch you guys.
I guess.